Okay, before we get to the homework, I have a small announcement. As you know, our department will be holding another short film competition this semester, and while the specific rules have not yet been published, I can tell you that this first lecture will be held at P101. The location of the second lecture also has not yet been decided. But if you want to attend the first lecture, the information is all here. Okay, let's get to the homework. Page 13, right? Let's see. Yeah, make a question. Okay, so number 3, how long have you had your old bike? Do we have other answers? How long have you had your old bike? I will also accept how long have you had your bike? How long have you had your bike for? How long have you had your old bike for? Number 4, how often do you ride your bike? Number 5, how do you usually get to work? No, sorry. How do you get to work? Number 6, are you going to ride your bike to work tomorrow? You can also say, will you ride your bike to work tomorrow? It's slightly not as good as the first answer, but it's also fine. Number 7, why didn't you ride your bike to work today? Number 8, when did Jason get his new bike? Number 9, who broke Jason's new bike? Number 10, what did Billy break? Number 11, what is broken? Number 12, how did Billy break Jason's bike? Number 13, does your bike have a comfortable seat? Number 14, what kind of bicycle do you have? Number 15, which bicycle is yours, the red or the blue? You can also say the blue or the red. You can say the red one or the blue one or the red one. The point is the first half, right? Which bicycle is yours? Number 16. Where do you keep your bicycle at night? Number 17. Who does that bike belong to? Or to whom does that bike belong? Number 18. Whose bike did you borrow? See, I knew I forgot a question word last week. Whose, which means belonging to whom or of whom. Number 19. Where is Rita? Number 20. What is Rita doing? Number 21. How far did Rita ride her bike yesterday? Number 22. How do you spell bicycle? Questions? Okay, I wanted to point out two things on this page. First is this word. Did you notice how I said this word? Comfortable, not comfortable, comfortable. And the second thing is here, the hint says you. Usually, we would then in our answer turn this into I. But this you does not mean you as in A or B. This you is called an impersonal you, which means a person or any person. In Chinese, we wouldn't even have a pronoun. We would just say bicycle 怎么拼, right? No pronoun. But in English, you do need a pronoun, and so we often use you to mean anyone. And that's why for this answer, it is also how do you spell bicycle, not how do I spell bicycle. All right, next page. Number 2. What did you do Saturday afternoon? Or what did you do on Saturday afternoon? Number 3. Which dictionary did you buy? The small paperback or the large one with the hardcover? You know what? I don't really care if you have the back half. You could just have to say which. Which dictionary did you buy? Number 4. How long did it take you to clean your apartment before your parents came to visit? Number 5. How can I reach the top shelf? Or how do I reach the top shelf? Either one is fine. Number 6, which kind of bread do you like the best? There should be a finite number of kinds of bread, right? There's not like a limitless number of kinds of bread. You go to the store, there's like 6 different kinds of bread, and that's it. So it should be which, not what. Number 7, why didn't you answer the phone? The when it rang part is redundant. If your phone is not ringing, of course you would not answer it. So you don't really have to mention that part. Just why didn't you answer the phone? Number 8, who are you going to the show with? Or with whom are you going to the show? Number 9, who repaired the radio? Number 10, how's the temperature in your hometown in the winter? Oh, okay, a better way to ask this is, how is the winter in your hometown? Yeah, so notice this sentence structure. If the answer is it's not bad, bad is an adjective. So the question is not what, the question is how. How is the winter? Number 11, what is Jack doing? Number 12, who is he playing tennis with? Or with whom is he playing tennis? Number 13, what is Anna doing? Number 14, what is she throwing in the air? Number 15, what are Anna and Jack holding? Number 16, what is between them? Number 17, where are they? Number 18, how long have they been playing? Number 19, who is winning right now? And number 20, who won the last game? Questions? Yes. Number 4. So this part is the same, just change my to your. The first half is, how long did it take you? Good. Other questions? All right, next page. Tag questions. Number 2, can't they? The basic principle is if it's a be verb, use the same be verb. If there is a modal verb, use the same modal verb. If there is if there's just a regular verb, add some kind of do or did. So the first one uses was, so it's wasn't. The second uses can, so it's can't they. The third one is a regular verb, so use some kind of do. This is present tense. So don't they? All birds lay eggs, don't they? Number 4, is he? Right. So this one is positive, so you change it to negative. This one is negative, so you change it to positive. Mike isn't married, is he? Number 5, wouldn't you? Number 6, aren't they? Number 7, isn't it? Number 8, can it? Number 9, shouldn't you? Number 10, won't she? Number 11, doesn't he? Number 12, did you? Number 13, is it? Number 14, do I? Number 15, is it? Number 16, weren't they? Number 17, will she? And number 18, doesn't it? Questions? All right, if you don't have questions, we're going to move on to this week. And this week's unit is negation, 否定. Negation in English is usually not too hard, but there are some things that you should remember to pay attention to. And I will show you what they are as soon as I've set this up. Okay, so usually in English, to negate a sentence, to turn it into its opposite, take the first word in the verb cluster and add not after it, right? Went, went is go plus past tense. So it's did go. And then after the first word in the verb cluster, add not. Another way to form negation, which you will sometimes see, is to simply add the word not after the main verb. Or, I'm sorry, after the first verb, even if there's only one verb. So sometimes you don't have to add a do. So this applies equally well to other kinds of sentences. So the second one, using a be verb, same thing. Add a not after the first word in the verb cluster. Now, in English, usually we put the verb cluster words together, right? Did go becomes didn't go. Sorry, did not becomes didn't. But the contraction for am not is considered informal. If you didn't know, the contraction for am not is ain't. But this is considered informal. So instead, we contract with the I. I am not here, I'm not here. And then for a sentence that in its regular form has more than one word in the verb cluster, again, add the not after the first word in the verb cluster. Now, as you can see from this example, sometimes the grammar is right, but it still looks weird. Why? There's very few occasions where somebody would want to say, I wouldn't love to see the movie. You would say something like, uh, I would love to see the movie. You might say, I would not want to see the movie. You wouldn't use the word love. The one situation I can think of where you might want to use this exact sentence is if you are being sarcastic. To give the example in Chinese, if somebody asked you, 你会很想看这部电影吗? And you said, 我不会很想看. Right? You're being sarcastic. You're joking. But usually you would use another word that's not as strong, right? Like want. Or in fact, if would is being used to be polite, then for the negation, you don't have to be that polite. You can just say don't. I don't want to see the movie. Okay, so those are the regular forms of negation. Do you have questions so far? Okay, so as you can see from the first example, sometimes a negation is not just adding not. Sometimes you want a different word, right? So, for example, okay, I need to think hard about an example. So, like in this example, the opposite of saying that you love the Canadian rock band Nickelback, 五分钱, is not we don't love Nickelback. That's not strong enough, but rather we hate Nickelback. So negation is pure logic. Is this true or is this false? But in the real world, if you want to say the opposite of something, sometimes you need to change the whole word, not just add the word not. Now, there are, as I previously mentioned, a few instances where you have to pay attention to the word you're using. For example, we have to go home. The opposite is we don't have to go home. But if you say we should go home, the opposite is still we don't have to go home. Another way to say this is we need not go home. Don't have to, don't need to, need not. Because if you say we shouldn't go home, that means we are not allowed to go home. Can you see the difference between these two ideas? We don't have to, and we are not allowed to. These are two different ideas. So when you negate something with expectation or with some kind of ethical force, right? You have to, you should, you must. Be careful. Don't have to, don't need to, need not means you can choose. Nobody is forcing you. But if you say should not, must not, are not allowed to, or in rarer cases, ought not, these mean you cannot go home. This does not give you a choice. So please be careful about this. This can be kind of confusing because in the positive sense, all four of these are the same meaning. We have to, we need to, we must, we ought to, we should. All five mean the same thing. But when you negate them on the negative side, then there's a difference. Mustn't, shouldn't, and oughtn't mean you are not allowed to. They force you not to do it. But don't have to and don't need to or needn't give you a choice. Questions? Okay, one last thing, and this is probably the hardest thing today. This sentence has two meanings. It could mean the reason we don't want to go home is because we're tired. I'm not sure how much sense that makes, but that's what the grammar says. But there's another possible meaning. We don't want to go home. Oh, okay, I see the problem. Okay, that makes more sense. We want to go home because we're tired. No, we still have to use this. Okay. We let's we don't want to go home because we're tired. The other meaning is we want to go home not because we're tired, but because it's time. The concept here is that if you have a because, if you have a reason, this negation is negating the reason, not the situation. So a clearer way to say this is putting the not here. These two sentences mean the same thing. They both mean not because of this reason, but because of that reason. You can put the not here, you can put the not here, the meaning is the same. So how do you clarify your meaning? First of all, you can put your not here. That makes it more clear. But the second thing you can do is add a comma. This sentence just means we don't want to go home. And the reason we don't want to go home is because we're tired. When you add this comma, you break the connection between the not and the because. So the main sentence is exactly what it says, and the reason is exactly what you say, and there's no interference from the two sides. But if you don't have a comma, then the not will interfere across the two halves of the sentence. Then this will mean the same thing as this. It's not because. Similarly, have you seen this idiom before? All that glitters is not gold. This is not saying that everything that glitters is not gold. This is saying not all that glitters is gold. Once again, in English, if you have all, or later on we're going to see and, some kind of combination, and you have not, the not is negating the combination. Let me give you another example. Uh, Linda doesn't want to work with me and Bob. This means if the team is me and Bob, Linda will not join the team. But if only I am on the team, or if only Bob is on the team, then Linda is fine. The not is negating the and. If you want to say that Linda doesn't want to work with me, Linda doesn't want to work with Bob, so of course she will not want to work with me and Bob, then you have to say Linda doesn't want to work with me or Bob. It's a logic problem. If Linda doesn't want to work with, like, or means choose one, right? Me or Bob, one of these two. So if Linda doesn't want to work with me and Linda doesn't want to work with Bob, then of course Linda will not want to work with me and Bob. But according to the logic, it doesn't work the other way around. If Linda doesn't want to work with me and Bob, maybe she has a problem with me, and so therefore Linda will be willing to work with just Bob. Or maybe Linda has a problem with Bob, and therefore she's willing to work with just me. So in English, the not negates the and. For the same reason, if you have all and not in the same sentence, or in fact, if you have all and not and everything in the same sentence, the logic is the same. It negates the idea of everything. It negates the idea of all. Questions？有听懂举手，大家都不知道我在讲什么。Okay, let me explain this in Chinese. 如果英文句子里面有合并或是统一这种概念，加否定的时候，你否定的只是合并或统一那个概念，而不是它合并或统一的东西。所以，譬如说，这边 Linda 说她不想跟我和 Bob 合作，代表说她不想跟我和 Bob 合作。也许她愿意跟我合作，也许她愿意跟 Bob 合作，她不愿意跟我和 Bob 合作。所以英文的有集体又有否定，其实是否定集体本身，不是否定集体里面的个别。如果你要否定个别的话，你就必须要用 or，因为 or 就是二择一嘛。Linda 既不愿意跟我合作，也不愿意跟 Bob 合作，那加起来当然不愿意跟我和 Bob 合作。Right? 所以 me and Bob as the positive, the negation has to be me or Bob. 如果正向是和的话，反向必须要是或。同理，这边并非所有闪烁的都是金，用中文讲就是并非所有，并非所有。但是英文里面你把 not 放在这边意思一样，它否定的还是那个所有，它否定的不是金。If you want to say what you think that means, you have to say nothing that glitters is gold. 这个才是个别否定，就是中文所谓所有闪闪发亮的都不是黄金，要用 nothing 来开头。如果你只用 all 开头，那就变成并非所有闪闪发亮的都是黄金。OK，听懂举手。Okay, so it's not a language question. It's a logic question. Uh, all I can say is go home and rewatch this 2 or 3 times until you really get it. Okay, but that's negation. I was gonna say, do you have questions? But yeah, let's do some practice. Page 16. This is a comprehensive set of questions. It should cover things that we have talked about before. So not just negation. Every one of these 8 sentences is wrong. Please correct the sentence. And we will compare answers after the break at 1:50. 早晚期. What's wrong with question 1? Is this part right? Is it walks? It should be. Should be walk. Because the S is here. You don't need to add the S twice. Add it to the first verb. Okay? Good. Try another one, number 2. So it should be, what are you talking about? Good. It missed the R movement. Number 3, Wen Kaixiang. What's wrong with number 3? Finish. Good. You only need the past tense on the first verb. Good. Did you finish your work? Number 4, Cai Huangqing. This? How many friends? Right. Like. Good. The main verb is like. So there's no need to add ing. Number 5, Zhuang Yuxuan. What's wrong with number 5? Do you work for this company? Right? Good. Yeah. Do you work for this company? You could also ask, are you working for this company? The grammar is also correct, but the meaning is slightly different. Do you work for this company is the direct question. Like, is this your job? But are you working for this company means like in the conversation, you have been talking about this company and you suddenly realized, wait, are you working for this company? It's expressing, like the ing is expressing it's happening. It's currently happening. And in this conversation, it is currently the company that you're talking about. Number 6, Chen Youxuan. What's wrong with number 6? What time did your plane arrive? Good. Number 7, 林庭珍. 林庭珍在吗? Yes, number 7. What's wrong with number 7? How long have you lived in this city? Is grammatically correct, but an even better answer would be, how long have you been living in this city? How long have you lived in this city is also correct because up to this point, it was in the past. So that's fine. But when you're asking for how long, a better answer would emphasize that length of time. So a better answer would be have been living. From the past up to this point, from the past continuing up to this point, have been living would be the better answer. And number 8, Edna. Ali won't be in class tomorrow. Good. You don't need the to. Okay, questions about this part? Okay, next part. Same page, these 5. Same thing. Mistakes. Lots of mistakes. Correct these 5 sentences. I will give you 6 minutes. Okay, cool. Let's compare answers. Number 1, Liu Zhenxing. What's wrong with number 1? Correct. Mary will cook, not will cooks. Bonus question for you. For this sentence, if we use the negation, 改成否定, is chicken and rice correct? If we say Mary will not cook some, if it's not correct, what should it be? Yeah. If we say will not, then does this part have to change? No, you are correct because this is a dish. This is the name of a dish. It's not chicken plus rice. It's a thing, one thing called chicken and rice. So we don't have to consider them separately. Number two, Zhang Tingwei. What's wrong with number two? Good. Where will you be tomorrow morning? Number three, Judy. What's wrong with number three? I will not ride the bus to work tomorrow. Good. Number four, 郭志荣. 郭志荣消失的吗？消失的，好吧。刘一宁. Number four. Good. No two. You don't need this two. And number five, 邓允慈. Good. I am going to. You're missing a verb, be verb. I am going to. Questions about this page? Okay, let's continue. Yeah, so these are all wrong. Of 8 of them, I'll give you 3 minutes. Number 2, 杜丽优真. What should number 2 be? Good. She can see it. No 2. This one is extra. Number 3. Duri. Do another one. Number 3. Good. She can see it. No S. And number 4. Yeah, one more. Number 4. Also, she can see it. No S. Good. Uh, number 5. Washington. Number 5. On page 17. Good. Can you pass? Good. Number 6. 郭志荣. Do you see it or can you see it? We don't know which one we don't know the story. So it could be either one depending on the situation. Do you see it or can you see it? Number 7. 廖泽宏又消失了。我真会点人呢。刘雨桐 Number 7. They can't go there. Good. And number 8. Tony. Good. They aren't able to pay their rent. Questions about this part? Okay, I don't remember if I told you, but especially about number 8, right? So uh, the word can is actually a contraction of be able to. And you have to know this for one reason. For past and present, this is very straightforward. Or most of it is straightforward. But what about future? What's the future of can? There is none. You have to use be able to. And that's the only reason you need to know this. If you're in the future tense, you have to use be able to, will be able to, won't be able to. Now, you'll also notice cannot is one word. Cannot is one word. I don't know why. English is strange, but cannot is one word. All right, next part. 8 questions, right? The first one is an example. I'll give you 10 minutes. Okay, that's close enough. Question 2, 欧阳恒. 欧阳恒在吗? Yes, number 2. Good. I don't know Sam's wife. Number 3, 吴亦恒. 吴亦恒在吗? 张子晴. Yes, number 3, please. Okay, so the problem is with the verbs. How many roommates? 1, right? So the verbs should be watches and listens or goes out. Good. Number 4, 张良. The car. Sorry, I didn't hear you. Okay, so in fact, the first part is correct when I turn the key. It's the second part that's wrong. The car. Well, the first part is also past, so the second part is past, but it should be simple past. Started. When we say was starting, that means is starting, which means it's about to start. Class is starting soon. Class is about to start. But that the meaning of start is different for a car. When you start a car, that means you turn on the engine. It doesn't mean something begins. So it's a simple verb. There's nothing fancy about this verb. To start a car. So the car started. Okay, good. Number 4, this one's harder. I'll do it myself. Air consists of. Present tense. Air consists of. It's simple present because we're not actually talking about time. This is the general case. 就一般来说都是这样，所以它不是现在，它是任何时间。So it's simple present. Air consists of oxygen, nitrogen, and other gases. Number 6, the children drew. Draw is an irregular verb. Draw, drew, drawn. Draw, drew, drawn. Number 7, there's 2 mistakes. Sorry, there are 2 mistakes. Right now, comma. Sally is in the kitchen eating breakfast. The right now is a hint. We are talking about present tense. And in English, if you're talking about the present, you need to use present progressive. Be verb plus ing. So you need a be verb. Sally is in the kitchen eating breakfast. Number 8, last night. So this is not I am. This is I was. And there's another mistake. The past tense of hear is heard. Hear, heard, heard. You know, like the actress Amber Heard. Number 9, what are you talking about? And B replies, I am talking about. Questions about this page? Yes. Okay. So, question 4, the question is, why do we use the word when? I think you're thinking about when versus while, right? Oh, okay. The tense of the word turned. So there's nothing special about this tense. It depends on, like, are you talking about the past, the present, or the future? The word when doesn't change the tense. So in this case, it's all in the past. Okay, does that answer your question? Right. So the original sentence is already in past tense, was. We're just changing it from a progressive to a simple. 从进行式变简单的，从过去进行式变过去简单式。Right, because when you start a car, it's one action. It's like when you open the door. It's not like my example was when class is starting. It's okay. Example time. Is this present or future? Future. Even though it looks like present progressive, it's actually future. Is this present or future? Also future, because again, looks like present progressive, it's actually future. So the meaning of start here and the meaning of start here is different, right? Uh, let me see if I can come up with a better example here. Same thing, right? Looks like present, it's actually future. But in our question, it's not future, it's past. That's why we use simple past. Okay, good question. I hope that helps everyone else understand also. Other questions? Okay, that's it. No homework. We finished the homework. Next week, we'll talk about direct quotations.